Directors' regular meeting of July 18th, 2019, as well as the NTMC at 3:08. And we'll start our board meeting as we typically do, and I've asked Carter to do the pledges for us.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Father, we just come boldly before your throne, Lord, with praise and thanksgiving. And Father, we just thank you for this opportunity that you've given us. Father, your word says that unto whom much is given, much is required. And so, Father, we thank you that we live in a community, Lord, where we can boast about many things. But you do call us, as you came, Lord, to serve, not to be served. And so, Father, I just thank you for this opportunity of everyone in this room. Lord, I would ask you that you would bless every family represented here. Father, we know that there's a greater accountability and transparency that we have, and that's to you, Lord, that we do things that are honoring and glorifying to you. Father, we ask for wisdom and knowledge. Lord, we ask for favor during the decisions that we make, Lord, that, Father, that we would be seen as an entity, Lord, that is open and honest and works together for what you would want, Lord, and that's unity in our region. So, Father, I thank you for this time. I ask you to be present with the decisions that we make today and as we go forward. And, Father, that as many are traveling or will be traveling, Lord, we pray for traveling mercy, that you would bring them back safely. And so, Father, we ask this in the name of your Son, our Lord, Jesus Christ. Amen. So, any introductions or visitors? No? Okay. So as you see, this is going to be somewhat of a light agenda, and we're missing one of our board members, Sam. He's out fishing, I think.
Go short.
What's going on? I want to see his biggest one, and I'm coming back with a big one. Yeah. But anyway, so Sam had asked, hey, whatever y'all can pull off the agenda that can wait till I can come back, which I think is great. So anyway, it'll be somewhat long. We also, our history is honoring former board members. We, over the last few months, have had a few that have come off the board, and we're just going to ask them to come back, to recognize them, and to thank them for their service. So, agenda item number 2, consent. Agenda item 2A, approval of minutes of the board work session and regular meeting of June 20th, 2019. B, acceptance of monthly financial statements, June 2019. C, acceptance of quarterly investment report. D, acceptance of quarterly grant report. Is there a motion?
I'm in approval.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. The motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 3, regular agenda. Discuss and approve award of transit tire contracts to Southern Tire Mart, Gouldsby Tire Service, and T&D Tires, LLC. Marissa or Sarah? Anybody can talk
Sarah
about that?
presented this item during the work session. We received 3 bids, and we are awarding a portion of the contracts to each of the 3 firms that responded based on the low bid per tire.
Okay. So is there a motion? Okay, second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The vote was unanimous. The motion carries. B, discuss and approve interlocal cooperation agreement with Star Transit for cooperative purchasing.
Sarah presented this item during the work session as well. Star Transit approached us to leverage our Moss contract, and this ILA will allow them to leverage the Moss contract and will allow us to leverage contracts with them going forward.
Okay, motion. I make a motion. Second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Vote was unanimous, the motion carries. C, discuss and approve interlocal cooperation agreement with Omnia Partners for cooperative purchasing.
Sarah went over this one as well. Omnia Partners, when Raymond and I saw this one, we both had to go to procurement and ask what this actually was, because we're used to seeing GIR or one of those types of cooperatives. So this is a new cooperative agreement that will allow us, I think our first plan is office supplies, to leverage competitive pricing on office supplies, as well as potentially some other contracts without having to go through the full RFP process ourselves in-house.
Okay. All right, a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. The vote was unanimous. The motion carries. That takes us to agenda item 4. We will not be meeting in executive session today. So that will take us to agenda item number 6, regional transportation and legislative issues. Christina?
Yes, I have a few items. At your place, you have 2 publications. One is Progressive Railroading, and on page 36, it talks about positive train control, and it does a little highlight on DCTA. And you also have the 2019 Progress North Texas, which is the North Central Texas Council of Governments annual report, full of very interesting information, especially if you compare it to 5 years ago, and they talk about how much they've done to prepare for the growth that this region is seeing. It's a great publication. If you need more of them, we do have an entire box.
Don't be sassy.
Let's see, what else? I think the other items are else.
Actually, last month at our regional, or was it this month, at our regional transportation, Charles Emery was recognized by RTC. Michael Morris and Judge Eves spoke of the time that he served and the legacy that he leaves. And so, anyway, it was a great opportunity. And then the city of Louisville as well, the other evening recognized Charles and Elaine, who's been an amazing partner with Charles. And the mayor spoke highly of their service to the community. And then they put him on another board. I'm like, what? No.
He made a heartfelt speech, and he sat down, and not 5 minutes later, he got back up, and he said, I wasn't in retirement very long. Oh, 5 minutes.
So, you know, they have no intentions of leaving. They have lots of grandchildren that they'll be visiting with, but you know, those type of people serve forever. So I expect to see them on other things. Elaine, I think, is on 3 other committees herself.
I know several of you have tried to attend one of many of these acknowledgments for his and Elaine's service. I'm literally just looking at my calendar, how many different events I've gone to. And I asked him, I'm hoping in the city of Louisville, is this your last one? He says, yes, as far as I know, this is my last one. So if you didn't get an opportunity, then please reach out to him directly, but he's just been phenomenal.
Well, and it actually is not the last one. We have one more.
Oh, that's
Actually,
great.
2
As
more.
a reminder, on October 29th, the city of Louisville and DCTA are teaming up to honor Charles and Elaine one more time at our Old Town Station. So that date is final. It's October 29th. The time is to be determined. We will be sending out save the date emails very soon, because when you serve at an agency for over 16 years, you have a huge impact on many different agencies and within this region and within the industry. So stay tuned for more event details for that event.
Thank you.
And I have one other item I'd just like to
Sure.
brief the board on. I received a call yesterday evening from Stadler. Stadler is the provider of our vehicle. They've also been contracted with DART to deliver the vehicles and an O&M facility for operations of the FLIRT vehicles that they'll be delivering for the Cotton Belt. Randy was very gracious to put a bug in their ear that said, look, the place to put the rail cars together, to test them, to and store them for a period of up to a year, and then later commission the vehicles. So they made an inbound phone call and said, hey, can you give us a price? Would you be interested, number one? Number two, would you give us a price on what you would charge us to occupy your facility? We'd work within the existing operations, and I communicated back to Brandy, Kirk, and everybody else at Stavler that as good regional partners, we'd certainly take a look at it. I have to talk to the board about it. When do you need a response? And they said tomorrow morning, so, which is today. Obviously, we can't get them a response that quickly. So I did reach out to First Transit, who is our operator, make sure that it would be a viable option. I think it would be a great opportunity for DART and for Stadler to leverage our assets. It'd be great for us to be a regional partner, so I extended that opportunity back to them to say we're more than willing to have conversations with them. But it's going to take more than 24 hours if they're really interested, as opposed to just saying we checked with DCTA and they said no. We told them we'd be happy to sit down with them and have a conversation. But there's liability and all kinds of other things that we just have to talk through. It's how many hours are they going to ask out of staff, both DCTA and First Transit? What does the commissioning schedule look like? They also wanted to leverage our about 5 miles of track to actually test the vehicles, and then once they were commissioned, that they'd take them down to the TRE. I just want to let you know, in case there's a question that comes from someone, that inbound request came in, and as good partners in the region, I think it'd make a lot of sense for us to try to help facilitate in anything that we can do to help them. So that's my last item. Oh, actually, I do have one other. So we were contacted by, I don't know if it was inbound or outbound, whether
From
Lindsay reached out
Representative Stuckey?
with Representative Stuckey?
It was conversations when we were in Austin during the session.
Okay. So he called back, he and his wife came in, took a tour of our facility. We rode the train from downtown Denton, the DDTC, all the way down to Trinity Mills. We transferred, took the A train down to the Cotton Belt, stood on the platform, talked about how the Cotton Belt would interface with the A train. We then took them over to the O&M facility, let them get on the vehicle. They got their pictures in the cab of the vehicle. We talked about PTC and how it works. They were very appreciative. They thought that out of all the time that they've spent, they've taken the train before, but they said that this level of understanding the options or possibilities with regard to transit-oriented development really opened their eyes to the amount of opportunity that we have. So they were very appreciative. They said it's going to help them a lot in the future as we bring items to them. They have a much better understanding. We're going to try to do the same thing with Michelle Beckley's office, and I think we're still trying to schedule a date for her to come in. Yes. And so if one or two of you would be interested in touring, I think it's a great opportunity to get closer to some of our legislative officials. And I think it's a big benefit as they become more interested and understand what we're trying to achieve here as we bring legislative agendas to them, that they understand DCTA in a little bit more depth. So that's my last.
Okay.
Quick question on your first one.
Yes.
Is there a time, I mean, because discussions with the board, what kind of timing on the Stadler discussion are you anticipating?
I think we're going to have to wait to hear back from DART. DART was requesting of Stadler. They needed to know right away. The requirement isn't until like 2021 or 2022, but I don't know what the decision-making process is. I know that they're looking at a facility. It's kind of a hybrid model between the existing O&M facility, I think call it EMF, at the TRE, and something in Plano along the track where they would potentially house their vehicles at a facility near the Plano border. I think it's within a quarter of a mile of the track, which would make sense, so they could pull in and out of there, so they wouldn't have a lot of deadhead miles. And then any major anything that they have to do, overhauls or heavy mechanical equipment changes they do down at the TRE, but I don't know where that is. Their biggest concern lot of things we're gonna have to look at, it's just where are they gonna assemble them? When are they gonna test them? Likely it would be on Sunday nights, they'd burn them in and run it up and down the track, it's a requirement. And once they get all that done, I think the plan would be to take those south along the existing alignment down to the TRE and store them at their yard. So we just told them, it's out there, if you're interested in having a regional conversation, we're interested in having that with you. It's totally in their court. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Sure.
Anything since you set it up?
Yes, absolutely. So I represent staff, and I'm a local representative, and have been for about 7 or so years now. And so the issue is that DART is looking to construct a maintenance facility for the Commonwealth vehicles, and it will not be, most likely will not be ready in time for the first testing of the Cotton Belt vehicles, which is April 2022 timeframe. And so they need about a year, maybe a little above a year, in order to commission the vehicles and test them. And so that's the conversation that they want to have with the DCTA.
Well, thank you for referring them to us.
Absolutely. Like Brandon said, I'm not sure if that's really a viable interest from DART or not, but I think it's definitely worth the conversation.
Okay. Report on items of community interest. Any reports? Okay, well, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Okay.
I don't think we need any further.